Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Real Shift Show. I am Anna Crowe.
I'm Katy Temple.
And this is a show about reinvention, pushing boundaries, and creating shifts in our lives, right? We're interviewing entrepreneurs, leaders, athletes, titans, pioneers of the industries.
Speaking of, our guest today has created a lot of shifts in my personal life. He is a highly sought after keynote speaker. And if you ever hear him speak, you will know why. He is a well-respected leadership coach for CEOs and Fortune 500 companies. He played in the NBA, a lot of shifts, and he is the author of this brand new book, Bullets, Basketballs, Boardrooms. Brand new book, Amazon's bestseller. Go grab it while you can. Jim Brogan, it's so exciting and discipline-driven to have you here. Scared and a little nervous. He walks in, everybody, and he gives us this black bracelet that says courage, attitude, and goals. That's a big first move.
Well, it just came from, for the last 42 years, doing informational interviews, finding out from the best of the best, similar to what the Real Shift Show is about. Find out from the best and share it with your audience, share it with your kids, share it with your clients. And that's all I did. And I found those three words, attitude, courage, and goals, came up in a great deal of the informational interviews. Those words very precisely came up. So I thought over the years, why not see a way? What's a couple ways I could perpetuate those three words that people could see them? So put it on a wristband to start with. That was one of the biggest precursors right there. Put it on something that people can see. And that's where the wristband came from.
And you've got an athlete's mindset. You played at the highest level in the NBA, and you've created this successful consulting and keynote speaking company and have dived in with 2 feet and 2 hands to neuroscience. Tell us what neuroscience is for those, we need to break it down for us. First of all, what is neuroscience and how is it affecting your clients?
I just looked at it because some things happened in my personal life with people that had strokes. And I thought to myself, what is this stroke? What is this? What's the neuroscience behind a person that has a stroke or even a heart attack for that matter? And I just kept studying it. And I started working with some doctors and they gave me books to read, which were very challenging for me to read because I didn't have the medical background and the vocabulary and the dictionary of what those words were. So I'd constantly ask these questions. And it assisted me in understanding how do these neural pathways get built? What's the electricity in the brain that allows us to move our arm, blink our eyes? And so one thing led to another. And I just started finding ways to incorporate that into presentations. An experiment we do with pro quarterbacks. I'll share this one.
Great.
We asked them to draw a picture of success. I just did this with a whole bunch of attorneys at a law firm.
And what did you see?
What were some? Yeah, what are some of them?
It's fascinating what people will draw because it's always different. And some people will ask you, and not to get on this group, but I had a bunch of attorneys say, what should I draw?
They asked you.
That's fascinating. Not that it's wrong or right,
Right.
but it's fascinating. They're asking me, what should I draw? I've had actually people, highly educated people, they go,
Yeah.
look at other people's papers. Where does that come from? Is that a self-confidence issue? Is that a self-esteem issue? What is that? And what is your picture? Why? We learn 3 ways neurologically: sight, sound, and touch. Sight, visual; touch, kinesthetic; sound, auditory. Okay, there's going to be, one of them is going to be dominant in there in how you learn. But sight, it takes over everything most of the time. 83% of what we learn is by sight. 11% by hearing.
I didn't realize it. 83%.
83%.
Number. Yeah.
That's why working with blind people is fascinating.
So round out the exercise because you're dealing with attorneys, a successful firm, highly motivated, highly skilled, highly successful firm. And this leadership coach comes in and says, draw what success looks like to you. How did that exercise round out?
It's always fascinating when people draw, because once they draw it, then you can work towards that and then say, what would happen if you would draw being a very accomplished attorney in court? What would you draw? A lot of people I work with, they're in court. So they have to be able to be persuasive to 12 people and one person sits above them. You ever notice how when you go into a court, a judge sits up in the air, up above you? It's done for a power play. It's done to let you know I'm in charge. So one of the things we do is we just don't role play it. We draw it out. We visualize it. Why? The brain works in a series of pictures. Have you guys ever had deja vu? Come on.
Yes, all the time.
Have you all the time?
All the time.
We're going to work together. We're getting together. Definitely.
Wait, why? Why?
What happens is it's the precursor. So instead of having deja vu, we teach vujade. That's deja vu.
Creating
That's
the deja vu.
very good. Yes.
Katie smart.
We create the deja vu because we work in a series of pictures.
Well, you touch on a lot of things there. I love the fact, first of all, that people are unclear of their own definition of success and are looking to other people's definition of success. That's very interesting, and there's a lot there to unpack. But secondarily, what are some of the things that come up? Are there some themes that continue to pop up with the people that you work with, whether it's a law firm or others? What kind of stuff are you seeing?
Frustration, not being in control, not put in leadership positions, and they don't understand the real value of their
Time.
I will tell you, it is a very arduous process to get any client I work with just to read 10 pages of a book a day.
Really?
Yes. To find 8 to 12 minutes, and depending on the font size,
Right.
just read that.
Because they're on their phones or because they're not making the time?
Yes. I mean, think what's out there now with the AI. What's available to any individual on this planet to become a better you, to become a better attorney, a better interviewer, a better baseball player, a better mother, a better father. Think what's available. And you'd be fascinated that people just don't take the time to spend 5 to 8 minutes to become the best at fill in the blank.
We know that it's noisier than ever these days with the phone and the shrinking of the attention span. And we are in a country of instant gratification. And you are coaching leaders. And leaders can have a very big impact, bad or good, on people's lives. And you are a very disciplined person in an undisciplined world. How do you break through with your skill set and your authentic leadership training?
It's similar to one of the chapters in the book, team ability. We've got to create a team. You will learn different from her. You will learn different from everyone here in the audience, in the studio. They're going to learn differently. It's a series of open-ended questions that a person has to take notes to find out where we're going to meet together. And then I have to push you into the struggle. Why? The success is in the struggle, period. I don't care if it's sports, I don't care if it's law, I don't care if it's science. This right here, starting this, the success is in the struggle. We're building a system. This is my professional opinion. We're building a system so that you don't struggle. You don't.
That's fair.
I just don't understand why we're doing that, but you're making it worse for people as they go through their life, not letting them struggle.
I would love to break that word down a little bit and how you see it, because discipline to some may sound very contrite. It's very rigid, right? Or discipline could be more like practice, or discipline could be more like habits. So there are different ways how people may connect with that word and have relationships. Could you talk about how you see it and how you parlay it in the work you do?
I got to see when I was young people that were very accomplished and they were extremely disciplined, meaning that they had a schedule and they stuck to it.
Coaches?
And I realized that coaches, my father was really disciplined. So I got to see it early. There was a coach that I played football for in junior high school that it was discipline, and he made a huge impact on everybody. And I just realized probably just assumed it. And it was the precursor to giving people the best opportunity to be as accomplished as possible. So people have a difficult time, as you said earlier, with the word discipline, because they've probably heard that in a discipline, man. I've been in the NFL for 10 years. I know what that word is. So I thought to myself, if I broke it down into would it be possible for you to read 10 pages? What are the chances? And doing as a prerequisite, saying something that it gives that person the opportunity to be in charge of their results and layer it in similar to a cake. So would it be possible we just read 2 pages a day to start with, or 5 pages? Just that simple. Okay. Would it be possible that you could walk out the door in the morning, 100, how long is a football field? Well, 100 yards. Okay. Person doesn't know. Okay. It's 100 yards. Would it be possible that you could walk out the door in the morning 100 yards or halfway down the block and back? Would it be possible you do that just one day a week? Well, Jim, I could do that every day. I said, no, don't do that. You're not used to doing that. Pick one day and let's write it down on your calendar, because they have the big poster calendar, and let's see if it can be done one day a week. And they'll do it. And guess what happens? Another week comes by. Isn't it? It's amazing. We're already in October. I mean, it just,
Yes.
so now the next week we pick the 2 days you're going to do it. And by the way, how long did it take you to do that 100 yards and back? It was a little over a minute and a half. What? Wow, just a minute and a half. Okay. So would it be possible to do it again this coming week and do it? What day did you do last week? On Wednesday. Could you do it on Tuesday and Thursday? Or do you flying? You got business, or what's going on? I could do it. I said, okay. Every client is what we do. We layer it in where it's not going to be, come on, man, let's go. People don't jump out of the box and go. They won't. The guy wrote the book, The Kaizen Way. Mm-hmm. Fascinating. It's a little book. It's a tiny book. What he talked about, how he rebuilt the whole Japanese economy. Just the Kaizen way. And for all your audience, it's a small book. Start with that, or start with bullets, basketballs, and boardrooms.
Well, obviously, this is number one. Yes.
You know, but start somewhere, please. That's what you two are here for. You're impacting people's lives for.
You want to tell us about how the idea came to be, and as an author, you did that by yourself, right? You have 3 authors, which feels like a lot. How did you manage it? Who are they? What was the premise?
It was an arduous process. It took 4.5 years, and it was the best thing, one of the best things I've ever done. And I recommend to people who are sitting at home watching this, take advantage of it. Listen to what I'm talking about. You're writing a book. It leaves something behind. Mm-hmm. It's fascinating. And it started because I did a lot of work for Nestle, and Dave Humager was the former president of Nestle Confections. And you're talking about, it's one of the largest food companies on the planet. And he was in charge of thousands and thousands of people. And food, when you produce food, it has to be precise. You can't have mistakes. Otherwise, the plant gets shut down. The product comes off the shelf. So there's such precision and strategy to it. And I did a lot of work with Nestle and their executives. And then Dave retired. He moved down here to San Diego. And at the age of, he's a little older, he decided to go get his PhD in leadership at the University of San Diego. Most people retire, they're on a boat, they're gaining weight. Not him. This is who he is. So he goes and gets his PhD in leadership at the University of San Diego. And while he's there, he meets a gentleman who is an active Navy SEAL captain. He is also in the class getting his PhD. So he meets, they become friends, they talk, and Dave says, hey, I want you to meet someone. He's a guy who did a lot of work for me, played in the NBA. So we all got together. This is it's coming on 8 years now that we've been together. And one thing led to another. And we said, what if we took the best practices, the ethos from the military, business, and professional sports, and we combined it? Revolutionary. We've never seen anything similar to it on the market at all. And we want to make sure that we get the audience to understand our point of view with our action items, with our stories. So it was a wonderful journey. And to see what's happened now and get back the emails, people called us and said, thank you. Can you come work at our company? Can you come speak with our company?
Can you talk more about how teamwork, how to be a good teammate, and how to be a good leader of teams can make your company soar?
I'm going to hug you. That's it. I played on a team that had Bill Walton, God rest his soul, great person, Terry Cummings, Lionel Hollins, Al Wood, superstars in the basketball world. They couldn't get along. And I know I just said that, but it was so challenging You have 15 of the best athletes on the planet, and you have to play as a team. It happens in sports. It happens in businesses. That's why I love what you guys are doing. You're a great team. Become the exponential factor for your family, for your company, for your church, whatever you believe in. Be the exponential factor. Most people, well, how do I do that? Great question. Let's make a list together. Let's see what we come up with together. Oh my gosh, that's team. We're a team now.
Yeah. Well, you've had such a beautiful and successful career and shifts along the way, right? Is there anything that failure has taught you that success perhaps hasn't?
I found, and it was through a mentor, that Jim, when he said to me, the success is in the struggle, you don't go after big successes. You don't think big. You don't think being the best. It was a simple process for me in basketball. Every day before high school and college, before classes, I took 150 jumpers. I did it wrong. I should have attempted to switch the jumpers with more precision. So there's certain little things that I found. And if I'm not failing every once in a while, I'm going to leave this planet. And I've been around, unfortunately, a lot of people have left because you get to a certain age, it happens. I don't want to go into that box, not saying I didn't take big risks. But in school, when you raise your hand and you're wrong, and you hear people, come on, the capital of California, you thought was San Diego? It's stupid. But people will do that, and they don't forget when they're ridiculed. They never forget. And they'll never take a risk of raising their hand again. And it starts in that early years. And they're not taught to take risks. And I get very serious about this. Why? I found the most accomplished people on this planet are serious about something. They're serious about something. Well, we don't do that. I see that within the educational system, within sports, within business. Go be the best at, and what would you choose? It's a great question to ask people. What would you want to be the best at? They'll tell you. Let me ask you a question. What would you think you'd have to do daily to be the best at? This is what you said. I want to be the best trial attorney. Okay, what are the top 3 things you think we need to do? Let them write it down.
Yep.
I know. I can even go to this thing called ChatGPT, but I know. Let's see what they say. They might have some marvelous ideas, but no one has ever asked them that open-ended question to see what their thoughts are. And they probably had it all along in their hand. And no one's come along and said, okay, I'm going to hold you accountable for about a week, and then you're responsible. So I'm going to make a phone call. I'm going to make a text message. I'm going to send an email every day. You're going to get at 4 a.m. Let me explain something to you, how it's going to work. Because I don't want you to look back and be, I could have, I should have, or I would have. Do we know anybody like that? Anybody in the studio, anybody like that? Yeah. Could have, I should have.
I'm just thinking about what I ate for breakfast today. I shouldn't have had that. What about in a time where you're out of control? Like you have this discipline and you have this focus and you have this positive attitude, and life can come at you in heartbreaking ways. So if your brain lets you down, or if your body lets you down, or if something's going on around you that you can't control that is devastating, how do you handle the big struggle?
This is kind of a personal question, but I'm going to answer this because will assist your audience. When you volunteer at Children's Hospital and you see young people that are 10, 12, 13, 15 that have cancer that aren't going to make it, you don't have a bad day. I've taken pro athletes, I've taken CEOs, business owners to Children's Hospital. I want them to see how fortunate they really are. The power of sight, the power of hearing a parent all of a sudden lose their son or their daughter in that moment, you never forget the shriek of that sound of crying. That's brutal, I understand. Life at times is brutal. Let's be as prepared or over-prepared as possible. There's a serious side to me. You just got to see it on the Real Shift show. Why? I'm here to make a difference. I'm paid to make a difference. I'll do whatever it takes to make the difference. Sometimes it hurts. Well, I didn't like running up and down that floor with two balls like this. And Stu Lance, who was my mentor in the NBA, said, Jimmy, you got to go up and back in about 9 seconds as a point guard in the NBA. It took me 3 weeks to get there, doing it every day, 6 times a day. I didn't quit. I'm not special. I'm not special. I decided to be special at something. I don't think people today in this country are asked, what would you decide to be special in? And tell me 2 reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
What a wonderful question.
What a wonderful question indeed.
And I'm not the author of that. I wish I was.
You're our author.
And you're bringing it here, so you're giving life to that question.
No, it's not. It's similar to your TED Talk. It galvanized people. It made people think. That's the point. Now, how do we get them to build the bridge to act?
Yeah.
What do we do? How do I assist you? When do I assist you? Is it the journal? Is it the calendar? Is it the phone call? Is it the email? Is it the text? What 2 or 3 things can I do for you starting right now? Be relentless. I found people that are relentless created their businesses. Read about any big company in this country. That CEO, that business owner was relentless.
Yes.
I think that's a choice. I have people tell me, no, you're born with that. I disagree. I'll debate anybody. I'm ready. I work with a law firm. I like helping with law firms. But I'll debate that.
Well, hard work is stronger than talent on any day of the week.
I work with a lot of NFL coaches, and they're going to take that person who really puts the extra effort in it versus that talented person, because that talented person always seems to be a challenge.
Yep.
During the practices, after the practices, in the meetings, they're always something. And I just think looking at the way we do things, show them the examples, let them know what's expected. And then how do we confirm a person understands? We don't ask people to work hard. We ask them to work efficiently, effectively, and measure it. We ask them to efficiently and effectively and measure it. That's important. And we ask them to write back to us, what are the 2, 3, 4 areas that you think you need to do on a consistent basis to obtain this? Now they're in charge. You wrote it down. So if they start to complain, and everyone in this country is getting excuses, we have an excuse for everybody nowadays. We're creating excuses, and they're really good at it. I mean, I'm telling you, people got some great excuses. That doesn't fly with what I do or what the guys who I work with do. It doesn't fly.
Yeah.
No, you wrote it down. We confirmed it. You wrote it down. See, that's why we have people write things down. That's why we have the success journal. No. You wrote it down. I remember we did this back in August, the first week. You wrote this in here, and now we're 2 months later, 60 days later, and you missed it. So this wasn't important to you. Let's establish that right now. Oh, but it is. No, it's not. You had 60 days. We measured it. You weren't efficient. You weren't effective. And that's okay. What are we going to pick?
Yeah. So that's so much good stuff there. We could talk about it for days. What I'd love to end with today is you gave us so many beautiful examples of ways someone could shift, whether it's their mindset, their vantage point, whatever it is, right? Physical surrounding,
Daily routine.
I mean, we talk about the journaling, the calendaring, these are beautiful things. Is there anything else that comes to mind that you recommend to your clients and or that's coming up top of mind right now that our viewers and listeners can do to create small shifts? They want to think bold, and we want to be bold, and sometimes we want to just create some small shifts.
That's that monumental Kaizen way, the milestones. So we look at it as just steps. How do we take the first step? Because people have a difficult time, and we're not getting the information that we need. What do I mean by that? You are what you watch. You are similar to the 4 or 5 people you're around. You are what you listen to. That's what the brain assimilates. The information it listens to, the information it watches, and the people that you're around. We ask people to make a list of the 4 or 5 things that you watch, the 4 or 5 people that you're around, and the 4 or 5 things you listen to consistently. You are what you're around. You are what you eat. So we have to make a list, and we have to look at, because we might have to make a shift in what you're reading, in what you're watching, in what you're doing, and what you're listening to. We have to make a shift, especially for college students and people that are just out of college 3 to 5 years. We got to make some shifts.
Yeah.
We do. We have to make some shifts. You're in charge of you. No one's in charge. You're trying to get other people to be in charge of you. That's not good. You are going down a bad path. And I think your audience can agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think you guys can agree with that.
Absolutely.
So somebody has to come along ASAP to get in front of that person to have conversations. And it has to be what we call an immersion. So what I do is we have an immersion and then awareness and then execution. So we immerse with a person. So if I'm going to start working with a person in a month, that first month, I'll meet with them 8 times. I'll speak with them 8 times, twice a week, 4 weeks. Why? We have to immerse you into the information that you want to understand and apply. It takes time. There has to be an immersion into anything. You're not going to get any type of shift mentally, physically, doing something once a week. It's not going to happen. And you're being fooled if you think it is. And that's why that discipline, or just have a daily chart, just put something down. I'm doing this tomorrow. Have your clothes out to walk your 100 yards in the morning. Have everything out. Have the red cup that you drink, a red cup of water every morning to hydrate your brain so you can think clearly.
Yeah.
That, I think, especially with what you guys have your show, it is a shift for people. And it's real. It really is.
Can you come to my house and tell my boys about the water? Because I'm a broken record in the water. Maybe I need a red Solo cup and make it fun. I need to gamify. How do you
Yes.
Well, they're athletes. She has 2 boys that are athletes. Yeah. Or something. Maybe
I would have them jump rope every morning for 10 seconds. And on the success journal, if they're, what age are they?
14 and 13.
So they should jump rope for about 22 times in 10 seconds.
Okay.
After they do that, and now they've done it for a week, just 10 seconds, they put the phone down there and they hit it and they start to jump. And when it gets to about 6 or 7 seconds, jump. So then they went, start at 7 seconds, at 17 seconds, stop. And they count it and they put it on the journal or they put it on the calendar. Okay. Let's say 22 jumps. A week later, they're at, let's say 26 jumps. A week later, 32 jumps. I will tell you, and I'm on camera, I will tell you they will be quicker and they will be faster. I will also increase their ability to focus and concentrate. Why? I've sped up the electricity in their brain. We're talking 10 seconds that they can see on the phone, stop. It's been proven. Just 10 seconds. Now all of a sudden the coach notices after about a month, like, wow, your son is really quick. And if the coach says it to him, he'll bump it up from 10 seconds to 20. You've now changed the dynamic. He was in charge of it. Now, if you got someone suing me, a former pro athlete, that had other pro athletes doing it, it would be really helpful. But third parties are dynamic in young people's lives.
Yes.
I can say the same thing to your kids, and you can say it too, but they might listen to me because I'm a former pro.
Right.
I've worked with the Drew Brees, the Jameis Winstons, the Matt Ryans, all these different pro athletes in all these different sports.
Yeah, you have more credibility than I do in this realm.
So leverage third parties that you can all of a sudden get your kids to do things that are just phenomenal. And it starts doing it so small and it adds up into a compound effect. Next thing you know, they're the best.
Okay, so first of all, everybody, Bullets, Basketballs, and Boardrooms, Amazon bestseller already. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Go out and get it now. Where else can we find you?
Or JimBroganConsulting.com.
Okay.
And then Tritus Leadership. Tritus Leadership is with Dave Hubinger, the former president of Nestle, and Andrew Pence, the former captain of special operations for the Navy SEALs. So we formed a company called Tritus Leadership to take the 3 disciplines and go out and work with companies and work with people. So I hit the lottery with these 2 guys and the book and just being here today. I can't thank you both enough for allowing me to share 42 years of experiments, evidence, and successes. So thank you too very much.
You've already given me too much to think about, right? So, and for me, I don't know if that's me or Libra, but I get overwhelmed with all of the things, and you know this about me. So I'll go back. I love the responsibility, not the accountability. Caring is the ultimate competitive advantage. Just that was made me even think I'm more excited about this opportunity with you. And, being efficient and effective and then measuring it. And, just the simple act of having water in the morning to hydrate your brain. So now I'm overwhelmed and excited. What do I do about that?
Just pick one and stick with it. And actually, believe it or not, I would say pick the red cup. Put the red cup out every night when you go to bed. Make sure the red cup's on the island. It's somewhere in the kitchen. You can see the red cup because it stands out, and you'll know I'm just going to fill halfway. It's going to fill 3/4 of the way. But I would start with that. It assists you in focusing for your day.
Yeah.
You've hydrated your brain. You're ready to start right off the bat.
Yeah, that's great. And for me, I really love what you said about what do you have to do to be the best, and kind of going back, not the deja vu, but the aujourd'hui.
Yes.
That's the one. I really enjoyed that. And also, as a parent with kids who are athletes, I did run track in high school, which I don't let them forget. That's where my career ended.
That's where their speed comes
That's
from.
exactly what it is. It's my athleticism, not my husband, who also was in sports. However, I really love the takeaways because it is so easy to say, oh, just look on your phone because we're trying to rush around. I want you to have some downtime. And it's just this little shifts that they can make. It's not, hey, I'm going to take the phone away because I need you to focus on something else. It's, hey, you can do this. However, let's replace some of this time with the jump roping, the drink, whatever it is, right? So that to me is also, as a parent, is coming through. So really appreciate your time with us today, Jim. That was wonderful.
You're the best.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no, our pleasure. And for everyone watching at home or in a Starbucks line or wherever you are, thank you for tuning in. I'm Anna.
I'm Katy.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the things.
And what were you inspired by? I know it's a long list like both of us, but what really stood out for you with what Jim Brogan said? And what shifts would you like to make, whether they're your own or something that he said, to make your life a little more joyful? We would love to see those in the comments immediately. Just let us know. We'd love to hear.
Wonderful. And don't forget, whether it's bold and huge or it's subtle and minor, real shift happens.
The red solo cup.
Bye.